This is Left, many voices from across the spectrum of left politics, produced by Democracy at Work.
Art is not a mirror held up to reality, but a hammer with which to shape it. That's not my quote, that's Bertolt Brecht. And I'm Eleanor Goldfield. I'm a creative activist, journalist, and filmmaker. And for this What Is Left video, I kind of wanted to dig into art because it's something that we kind of just sort of accept in movement spaces and, don't really think about, but consume in a variety of ways. And it's a vital part of our movements and of radicalism, and it always has been. So kind of first of all, I want to make a distinction of like what art is, not like the philosophical conversation that you could have that could last hours and days, but for the purpose of clarity for this little short video, let me just say that I mean art that is not made for the sole purpose of bolstering capitalism. Art that's not made for the purpose of being a commodity or of commodifying something else. I mean art that truly comforts the disturbed and disturbs the comfortable. Art that finds you, that questions your programming, and plants seeds that grow in the cracks of conformity. And art not as like any specific medium, but as a concept. Tactical creativity, storytelling as a form of art and resistance, self-care and expression in a system that wants you voiceless. So in this way, art is both fight and a salve. It's the soul and the pulse of our movements. Our art is how you describe what it is to be human. James Baldwin put it perhaps the best when he said that poets, by which I mean all artists, are finally the only people who know the truth about us. Soldiers don't, statesmen don't, priests don't, union leaders don't, only poets. Only artists can tell what it is like for anyone who gets to this planet to survive it. And if we kind of think about that like on a broad spectrum, like after we're gone, the stars won't hear your cries for justice. There's no sound in space. The dust of a billion collisions won't mourn the dead who laid we down on the front lines. But we will. I won't see you again, but I see you now. Nothing will matter a million years from now, because it matters now. Art is how we change this here and now, this human experience. Those questions, those planted seeds, what they grow into. That hammer. It can be an insidious lyric, a movie that makes you think differently about how to approach something. Art is what removes us from the rigid confines of capitalism, that invites us to think outside of that box, outside of their box. Like, why is that box even there? Who put it there? What does the box say about how I relate to myself and to others? In one image, in one line of a song, you can fit thousands of pages. Like, think, for instance, about the ballerina on top of the Wall Street Bull, the image that was created by Occupy Wall Street. Images like that speak to a power, a graceful resistance that sheets of political theory can't, right? Because it's an emotional connection. You feel something when you see that image. Maybe you also feel something when you look at sheets of statistics in political theory, but it's not the same feeling. Art is like that insidious back door. Like it shows that my band we used to have tables set up, and I would speak in between songs, and I would see the looks on people's faces, and they'd come up to me afterwards. They'd be like headbanging and rocking out and having drinks with friends, and they'd be like, wait, our drones do what? And it's truly insidious because you're reaching people in a more vulnerable state. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but in a good way. You're reaching people in a state where they're open to listen because they want to be there experiencing an art form. And then you use music, you use these raw art forms, these jagged emotional messages to reach people in a way that we don't respond to stats and things in that same way. And yeah, I mean, there's There's a reason that books are burned, right? Why films and art are banned. And, you know, on a lesser scale, like, there's a reason why art classes are cut, why it's not considered important or necessary to think or act creatively. Because conformity is far better for the bottom line. Conformity asks less of and from the status quo. You know, conformity will rearrange deck chairs on the Titanic, or even just have a seat, but creativity will take those fancy first-class tables and chairs, strap some linens around them, and build some damn rafts. And, I mean, ultimately, no, art is not going to topple empires, but it'll inspire the people who do. And particularly now, in the time of COVID, when we feel particularly raw from the designed failings of our system, art is a cornerstone of how we make it through, how we build community, how we share stories, how we build new ones, how we manifest mutual aid, create anti-capitalist pathways towards the justice and equity that we dream of outside of that box. Art is an invitation to think radically and to act radically, to build and to fight. Radical thinking is creative thinking, is the foundation of art. And again, that will be the salve and the soul for future radical thinking. So that's my little what is left tidbit for y'all. Again, my name is Eleanor Goldfield, and you can check me out at the aptly named website, artkillingapathy.com, where you'll also find links to my latest film, Hard Road of Hope. And yeah, see you out there.